thank you so much for joining us on the Dwelling Show. I'm your host, Ola Dantes. I've got the amazing, incredible, awesome Abel Pacho with us. Hey, Abel, how you doing?
How's it going, Ola? Thank you very much for having us. We appreciate it.
No, my pleasure. I'm so glad. I mean, I love to find the kind of up and coming, amazing folks. So your story is like fresh. I love it, and I can't wait to dig in for sure.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm sure you can do a way better job than I can in terms of telling our dual listeners a little bit more about who you are and kind of what you've been doing lately. Actually, just give us like a quick summary.
Yeah, absolutely. First, I do want to say thank you, Ola, for having us on your show. I have followed a few of your most recent and found it very educational. It's awesome to hear somebody like you giving back and really giving the information out, putting into helping individuals like me too. And man, that's awesome. Good job, and thank you very
No,
much.
no, thank you.
But yeah. But my name's Abel Pacheco. I am originally from Corpus Christi, Texas. I grew up in right near the beach, and 10 years, 20 years in San Antonio. I went to school at UTSA, got a general business degree there, and kind of starting there. Always been an entrepreneur. As a little kid, did those things, mowed grass, sold stuff, sold can, whatever I did, right? But when I found my way to college, my parents did they provided a great background for me, but said, "Hey, college, you're on your own." So had to find a way to pay for college, and I sold knives. So I don't know if have you heard of Cutco knives before?
I have
Ola?
not. I have not. No.
So when I was in college, I actually did in-home presentations and sold knives to pay for school. And I was really successful, found my way there. I realized structure and discipline created freedom for me when I was younger. So I made my own schedule, did my own appointments, grinded out a lot of calls and did in-home presentations. Then, that paid my way for school, paid my way for snowboarding trips for me and my friends as well. Had a good time and paid my way through college, but I really liked the entrepreneur side. So, that was my first 10X run from maybe 20K in sales to 200 when I was, in college. And afterwards, I met my beautiful bride, Leslie. So I've been married to her for 10 years, super supportive, amazing. It's great to have her business and life goals in alignment. And she's definitely right there with me every step of the way. So I love her a lot. And 2-year-old baby girl and a 3-month-old baby boy. And I really feel, man, I had a motivation before to succeed, produce, and that kicks into hyper overdrive, a little one. So that's kind of where I went from there. And really, for the real estate side, started in 2008, right? I moved from
what a
knives.
good time to start,
Oh,
right?
perfect. I bought my first house. I didn't realize why it was so hard. All these loans, and they're doing all this background check and verifying who I am. And I go, man, what is it with through? I thought everyone should do that. And anyways, it was an amazing time in the market. I really realized then I buy and I hold for as long as I can. If there's a market downturn, as long as you don't sell during that dip, man, you come out on the other end. And so I did buy my first house in '08 and started an IT career. So I do have a full-time job today. I've always had a full-time job through the real estate, but the next 10 years, I proceeded to do what I thought was the right thing, and it really was at that time. With my limited knowledge, no training, no education, just let's go buy some houses. We amassed 5 houses in about 10 years, and every time I'd save up 25, 30 grand, I'd go buy a $150,000 house. I put my 20% down, have my, 5K down for, I buy it. I analyzed it, did the cash flows, realized what I was going to make, a few extra bucks. And that's what I was buying. Passive cash flow, what I thought was passive. And I realized later, it's a little more work, but still a great net worth building and great cash flow. So give me a little bit of experience. And then, kind of realize, well, there's a way to do this. And I proceeded to buy 5 houses. I ended up finding some education, training, and dropped about $55,000 in training, went through 4 different companies, mentors, coaches, and converted quickly to 800 doors, 400 as a limited partner and 400 as a general partner. So
Wow,
something
I'm taking
flipped.
notes. That's a lot there. So there's a lot that we need to, you know, kind of get a deep dive into. First and foremost, selling knives. That is amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
so would you say kind of getting some rejections as you would in sales? I mean, I used to work in sales as well. Did that help you actually when you kind of got into real estate, kind of doing it full time as opposed to, you know,
Oh yeah.
not when you were buying the single family stuff, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean 100%. You learn to have a thick skin. You learn to take a no, and eight out of 10 is actually a good percentage of closing. 8 out of 10 say no. So you learn really quickly. Hey, it's not a big deal. Not everyone's interested in the product that you have, and I realize now not everybody wants to be a real estate investor. Not everybody wants to have the real estate empire. That's okay. They want to invest in other products, and now it's like, okay, well, for those that are interested, we sold a lot of knives. Two, 200 keys. When I was in college, I had a pretty big team, and we broke some records. And had, like I said, a 10x run back then, and it was pretty good. And yeah, a lot of knives, a lot of Cutco knives.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So you were buying the single family homes, like you said, like you bought like a few, every year, like you were just kind of building up a little bit. At what
Mm-hmm.
point did you think, this seems like a lot, right? Maybe this is not, what I really want to do. I mean, what's the story behind that? Did you just wake up and you were like, actually, I want to do multifamily, or what was that story?
No, really, I always knew that the goal was real estate since I was a kid. Real estate will pay that will be my retirement. So how do I figure out how to put as much money as possible into there so that my renters could pay off the notes, and then at the end I have 10 15 properties, and that's my retirement. Well, I was doing very well at work. I spent 13 years in IT hosting. I worked at Rackspace. It's a company we started in '06 from 600 employees, went to 6,000, went from 100 so million to $2 billion plus company. So I did really well there in the professional world, and I did well because we led teams. So I helped a lot of people succeed, and as they succeeded, so did I. So we had my second verifiable 10x track record of acquisitions. I went from $5.6 million a year in 2010 to about $57 million in acquisitions in 2015. So I made a lot of money. I tried to invest as much as I possibly could, but I realized, man, the W-2, the day job, no matter how hard I worked, the more they kept raising my my goals. And every year I would exceed, overachieve, but it never got easier. In fact, it always got harder. The pay, even though it was increasing, God willing, it did increase every year, year over year. But it was just a grind, and there was no way to get out of that. So that's when the mindset switch was, how do I get 15, 20 houses? I know people do it. I've heard on stories. So how did they do it? And every time I bought another house, they wanted 6 months of reserves on every single property. They wanted 20% down because I was so stretched out. And I go, this is the wrong way. I actually paid 20 grand. That was when I first got my first education. It was actually a single family education, dropped 20 grand. And I realized, okay, there's a way different way to do that. And that flipped the switch to say, I can get 10 properties in a year. And that was a couple of years ago. So last year was my full year, 2019, this year. We were trying to get 10. We bought 5 single families this year. But through that path, I realized, man, scale is going to be extremely hard. How do I get 20 or 30 of these and retire, not retire, but have passive income today? Well, the math just didn't work. It was too many transactions, too much paperwork, too much analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had a friend at the time, a really good friend who worked with me back in the day, said, well, this is what I'm doing. If you want to learn more, let's meet for lunch. And I met with him, and, next couple of weeks, we're talking with my wife, and she goes, well, this is a great idea. Let's put 50 grand in my first deal. And that's what we did. We converted our IRA from work, or 401k and IRA, self-directed, and invested in in our first deal as a limited partner. And we go, man, if it can double every 5 years, our seed, then let's keep doing that. So that was kind of a little bit of the switch. Way more stuff there, but that's the switch.
Awesome. So you were a limited partner. Now you've been a general partner. So somebody
Correct.
listening might be thinking, wow, I want to do that. I want to invest with, a syndicator, maybe like someone like me as a limited
Yep.
partner, and then jump into the GP side. How did you manage to do that transition?
So if someone has a relationship with Ola, I would say capitalize on it and help him with whatever he needs. So I had a relationship with a pretty successful syndicator in San Antonio, Devin Elder, and he's done a lot of business. And so I latched onto him and I said, hey man, teach me everything you can. I want to get in the business. And he was honest with me. He goes, I don't really have time to educate or mentor, but if you're an investor in the deal, you can ask me any question because you're an owner. And I said, I'm in. Okay. So I realized that was the ticket for me. So I invested in deal number one, deal number two. When I moved my job, 10 years at Rackspace, moved to another company, and I had that 401k. When you move from one company to the next, that's what allowed me to switch my 401k to a self-directed IRA. And once I got that, I invested in my first. And then the second deal, we did the same. Third deal, I go, okay, it didn't really feel like I was losing anything because I was taking my retirement product over there. So let's squirrel away the same, instead of 25 or 30 grand to buy a single family house, let's squirrel away our next 50 grand and get in the next deal. Well, my mentor, or now mentor and coach at the time, he was like, well, hey man, if you want to be a GP, because that's what I told him I wanted to do, he goes, you're going to have to do a few things. You're going to have to get really comfortable with investors, have those conversations, and either find deals or find some money for those deals. And that's probably the 80-20. So I would start that now. And I took his advice. And after the first deal, I started talking to people. And I told people I'm an investor in an apartment complex. And people's eyes are like, what? Well, like 5 units or 7 units? I'm like, well, 128 the first one and 282 on the second one. And they're like, how are you doing that? So I explained to them. And then, I had started that process through the year. And he said, hey, are you in a position right now? Do you think you can provide some value? And what he needed was probably of anything, but he asked me to come in his deal. And I said, absolutely. And so I invested my first 2 deals passively and got in as a general partner on the second one. And then, tried to over deliver and under commit, over deliver, same, kind of mindset to the professional world that I did. And I applied that, leveraged it to the commercial real estate. Do exactly what I say and not over promise, and then deliver on that. And let's create a structure. The structure was commercial real estate. Let's be disciplined to find out exactly what we need to do and do that. And that will create the freedom that we're looking for. And we did that and hit my commit on my first one. He said, hey, great job. There's a second one. And can you hit your commit on the second one? And that second one, as a general partner, it was 268 units. So yes, I'm now a general partner in 392, two deals. That's like $33 million worth of real estate. And then, another 33 or so, I don't know, some big number as a limited partner. So 800 doors. And now we're about to develop. I'm going to be a general partner on my third deal. God willing, we'll be breaking ground 2020 February. So it's November now. We're in that mindset mode right now, trying to close, and it'll be 156 units, a ground up development with a team over there in New Mexico as well. So excited, super excited.
Oh, wow. So if somebody is listening to this and they're thinking, hold on a second, how's Abel doing this? He has a day job. How is he managing to do this? What do you say to that person?
I've said this a few times and I keep going back to it. It's structure, discipline equals freedom. And, really the majority of people, and, we look at, I have another mentor and a coach that tells me this. He's amazing, Marcus Ogden. And so basically from his standpoint, he says 100% of people observe what's going on. Only 60% of those people actually process what's happening. Watches, 60% actually process what's going on. And then 25% of those people actually make a decision what action to take. So it's a very small percentage, but really that's not the magic moments. The magic moments is the only 2 to 4% of those people that oriented themselves and processed and made a decision. Only 2 to 4% of the people act. And that's probably the biggest mindset the shift for me. Was, let's take massive action. Let's do it. We've gone through, 4 companies, education, mentorship, coaching, 200 plus hours of coursework. I traveled to probably 10 or so cities with the 2-year-old, with the 3-month-old. My wife is doing the best she can to stay, to make sure the home is right. But let's act. And that's what most people fail to do. And I wanted to make a decision to check the box in every aspect of life I wanted the freedom. I wanted to be able to be with my children as they grow up. And, that for me, that's the most important thing right now. You never get that chance or opportunity again. And I saw myself grinding out, making a lot of people, the businesses, a lot of money. And I was super happy to do that because I helped other people. But man, I want to do it for our family too. I want to create a legacy for them. And so that's what I would say to most people that are like, well, how did they do that? How did you do that? Well, get educated, get some mentorship, get some coaching with somebody who's been there. Just don't follow anybody. Follow somebody that has done what you want to go do. Don't be afraid to pay them money because their time is extremely valuable. Now I have a bunch of people, Ola, where they're like, hey, can you mentor me? Can you coach me? And I'm like, well, I don't have any time. When am I going to find out to do that? And I want to give back and, do what you're doing eventually. But, as of right now, I'm like, whoa, man, I'm trying to create my own first. And I think by the example, that's what, a lot of people can follow and, just take action, find out
Yeah.
what's going on and take action.
I mean, time is the most. You mentioned legacy, and if you're watching this online, legacy, like it's right there. That's
Legacy wealth,
well,
baby.
yeah. So like
Yeah.
that's the most important thing is like legacy. But then you've got to like you've got this time effect, right? And you said you have a 2-year-old daughter. I have a 2-year-old daughter. You have a 3. So I can totally relate. So I've got the same thing. Ola mentor me. So I'm even asking people, do you have the time for apartment syndication? Do you have the commitment? Do you have the discipline? Because everyone sees it from the outside, right? Everyone sees like Grant Cardone's Instagram page, right? And people don't understand like the amount of work. So it's like, I hope you're not doing this for status. I hope you're doing this for legacy. I hope you understand what you're about to get yourself into, because you need a team. Don't try to do it by yourself. I mean, you know all this stuff, Abel. So
it's good.
It's pretty fascinating stuff. But what I was gonna ask is, you spent $55,000.
Probably more than that.
Probably more than that.
But anyways, it's a ton of money.
On coaching, mentoring, training, all kinds of stuff, even across asset classes, single family. What would you say to somebody today thinking, I can get everything on the internet? Why do I need to pay for, any kind of product, training, mentorship, coaching, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah. Well, really when I think about it, you can get a ton off the internet. And I would say now, before I dropped all that money, I didn't even realize there was Bigger Pockets. I didn't realize there were podcasts for I didn't know who, you Ola Dantas was. I didn't know you had 200. I didn't know all those things. Had I not paid for that training, I probably wouldn't have known that this whole entire world was out there. So that's number
Isn't
one.
That interesting?
That's the truth. And now that I know it's there, and I tell this to my investors that want to figure out how I'm doing it and what to do. And so what I tell them is, if they've got a high paying W-2 job and they are experts in their field, unless they're going to make a 100% switch to go full-time real estate and try to completely replace their income and get some information off the internet, it's there. These podcasts are amazing, and you can at least get your feet wet before you spend, a ton of money, and then, invest passively. Put your hard-earned dollar into a vehicle that will create amazing tax benefits for you. Save on your W-2, and then be able to multiply passively while you're sleeping. It creates more money for you. So that's what I would really suggest as step one. Now, for the people that are serious, when I mean serious, kind of what you're saying, do you even have the time to do that? Do you have the discipline? Do you want, unless you're going to take massive action and apply that education, then I would say save your money, learn what you can. But if you are ready to apply, then I will vet the source, make sure they're doing what you want to do. Uh, get referrals, find out what they're doing. Just like any other big purchase, I'm not going to spend 20 grand on a car without seeing a few reports and drive it, test drive, make sure it's good. Well, I wouldn't spend 20 grand on education without knowing a little bit more. But once you found the right source and you're the person that's going to act, then go for it. If you're not the person that's going to act, I would find somebody who's doing what you want to do eventually, and give your hard-earned money with an expert who will make sure that your money's good. And they've done the coursework, they've done the hours, they're the expert, and you attach your cart to their horse, so to speak. And that's what I thought I was doing at the beginning, and turned out right, and kind of fielded that process. And then I made the decision. I'm gonna go do this for ourselves, and still leverage the same partners, same partnerships, team sport. It's amazing.
It is. It is. So last question before we go into the quick round. What is next for you? What does 5, 10 years
Yeah.
look like?
Well, I would say for the first 3 to 4 years, we're going to try to stack our properties. We're slowly starting to sell off our single family property, so I don't want to completely dog on them. That's the reason I'm here 10 years later. I can act because I spent the 10 years of time in that expertise. But I slowly start to sell those off at the right time, reap the equity from those after we force the depreciation up, and then invest in more passively myself. And want to be a general partner on 2 to 3 thousand doors. I would say over the next several years. And eventually, I'm sure, like as you're experiencing, once you start to get those deals rolling, you start to have more people that want to be general partners, that want to invest their time, effort, and energy, and their expertise with you. And there's an amazing thing called key principle. So eventually, we want to be in that power pole position where I can help other people that are trying to learn the business and improve. And then in so doing, we make some equity on the deals too. So I think it's a team sport. If we all win, we all work together, we're all in alignment, then we're all going to make money, and our investors will make money. The properties will be better. We give back to the community. It's amazing seeing some of these properties
Mm-hmm.
and affecting the community around it. It's just, it feels amazing. It's one of those feel good investments. And,
Yep.
I want to do more of that. I want to be the city changer, and, bring something out where they say, hey, these guys, they've got a great name in the community, and definitely give back. If I fast forward it even more through the years, I'm here because of mentorship and education and coaching. And so I want to also coach and mentor people at the right time in my, the right phase of their career.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely do more of that. And, we'll see how it goes after that. I don't know if I can see 10 years down the road, but that's definitely 3 to 4
No
to
one
5.
can. Yeah, no one can but God. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. So definitely going into the quick round. These are going to be quick questions, quick
Mm-hmm.
answer. You ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. First question. What makes you able different? What is that unique factor that separates you from the next guy or the next girl?
Yeah. I would definitely say three things that differentiates me. One, I'm a servant leader. I've always been a servant leader. I want to serve others, and as I do so at church, serve there. I do so at home. I've done so at work through my teams, and I found the more that I serve others, the teammates there, the better I do as well. So it's a one of those cycles that's a virtuous cycle, and I want to continue doing that. So that's the first thing that differentiates me. Second one is I'm an action taker. I don't like serving people who don't take action. And so I want to serve those who take action right along with me. And that's the biggest thing I would say. And the last thing is just really grit. There's problems that always occur in commercial, in business and entrepreneurship, in any undertaking of a large goal. But a lot of people, when the times get tough, they kind of tuck tail and run, and our grit to pull through the end, through the finish line, is what makes me different. So I would say those 3 points, and then I'm highly favored. So the Lord has definitely helped me a ton in everything that I do. So I would say that's probably the differentiator.
Yeah, and that's a huge one, actually, huge one. Second question, I can see you've got books behind you. I'm an avid
Oh
reader
yeah.
myself. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
what was the last book that you read, and what was the one thing you picked up from that book?
So right now I'm reading The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod.
I wrote,
Uh,
great book.
have you read it?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
The Cutco salesperson, in case you didn't know, he sold knives. He sold Cutco. That's an awesome fun fact. But man, I got his book. I started reading it. It's changed my mornings. I'm waking up a little earlier. Meditation. I've always been a gratitude person. Like I got to give thanks. There's so many blessings that I have. Thank you for overlooking all that. But gratitude, meditation is big, and then trying to figure out how to plan the day. So structure every day, write my goals for the day, where I'm going to spend my time, and then the discipline to follow it. And at the end of the night, try to go do that. So the Miracle Morning has been really good. And then I'm, constantly in the Word. So I would say those are the
Awesome,
biggest books I read
awesome.
right now, anyways.
Yeah, no, awesome. Last question. So you, of
Mm-hmm.
course, you're like scaling up. You're doing a ton with your business. Obviously, you got your
Mm-hmm.
job as well. You got family. You got baby. Your baby. You've got a ton going on.
Yeah.
What do you do for fun?
Well, I just came a hunting trip in Kansas, so I got to take my father-in-law, friends, business partner with us over there. And so we did a little pheasant hunting, duck hunting, brave the cold, get out there. So that was awesome. I do like hunting a lot, and we do a little bit of really just family time every single day. And I love spending time with my little girl right now. I don't know how many times I've seen all the Disney movies, but Wizard of Oz 1,000 times, and now she's Annie, and I like seeing her dance. I like my seeing my son starting to smile, and my wife is just us together. It's probably the most time that I spend enjoying it, and that's what I'm trying to create my life, and spend some time with friends and cigars. Smoke cigar every once in a while. Love that. So that's
Nice, nice. Okay,
yep,
cool. So if there's somebody listening thinking, "Wow, I really like this guy. I like Zabel guy. I want to connect with him, get to know him better. Maybe in the SA area or maybe anywhere else in the country. What's the best place
yep.
people can reach out, get connected with you?"
I would say go to our website. Our website is the number T CRE, 5 talents commercial real estate. So 5tcre.com/invest. That'll hit our landing page. You can put your contact information. You can put your goals in there, what you're trying to achieve, and we can talk about a bunch of future things. One of the companies that I started, uh, well, that I took some mentoring and education, started a business, apartmenteducators.com. They really like the success that I've had and that we've created together. So they've asked me to be a coach for them. So I'm going to be, helping new multifamily investors go from 0 to 1 with their first deal under their belts and how to create a team. So I would say those two spots. And then my email is Abel, Abel, Abel at 5tcre.com. And you can email me there as well.
Thank you so much. Loved hearing your story. Of course, we're going to be doing some things in the future as well. So I really appreciate your time today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and keep a lot of blessings to you, and keep doing what you're doing, man. Great education. Thank you for giving back.
My pleasure.